stopping by the channel. My name's Leah, and this is going to be my recap and review for Growing Up Hip Hop. I think this is season 6, episode like 31. I'm tired. Let's get into it. Before we get into the episode or the recap, we talk about the drama that comes down the timeline. And y'all, what is wrong with Stevie? With Stevie? And Hasseline too, because she out here, her man out here jumping people. Pray for Bonnie Bella, y'all. Pray for her. Pray for that beautiful little black girl. So supposedly, not even supposedly, y'all, Stevie was on an interview with a young lady named Leah's Lemonade. She actually got a YouTube channel called, I think it's called Leah's Lemonade. And she was doing an interview. Y'all, Stevie was getting his thing sucked on while doing the interview. And at first when I read the caption, I didn't believe it. But then when the videos started circulating on Instagram and on Twitter, I said, I know something. And you be trying to give people the benefit of the doubt because, he seemed like on Growing Up Hip Hop, he seemed a little bit better. He seemed to be doing better with Faith. But then you do this. And this makes me feel like somebody has decided to do substances again, allegedly. Cause you got to be on something to do that. Like, bro, this not the 90s or the 80s where people don't really have proof of you doing it. Like, you could be on the So basically what happened was she was given an interview, and I remember reading her tweets about the said situation. And I think she also did a video on her YouTube channel about it, but you can also go to her Twitter, and she, typed out her feelings. Basically, Stevie was doing one of the new shows on TV One. I think it's called like Uncut or Uncensored, where it's basically kind of like unsung, but like a more explicit version. And she is a part of that, so she was giving the interview as kind of like a segue into him actually like doing his, build up interest in the actual episode, his episode. So it makes sense, but I was like, first of all, I wouldn't have did the interview. If I was her, I wouldn't have did the interview with him not having a shirt on and laying in bed. Even if he wasn't getting his, sucked on, it would have been the simple fact, like my teachers have always said, don't show up to class in your bonnet and don't show up laying in bed. Like, give me as much respect as I'm giving you, that I gotta put on clothes and I'm sitting here at my computer table, like in an upright fashion to have this interaction with you. So that lets me know off rip he didn't respect the interview or her, because why are you laying in bed with no shirt on? And then to the girl who was getting it done, you need help. You need therapy, because I be good God mother. If I'm doing that to somebody and no, why? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with him and what's wrong with you? Pray for the children. That's all you can say. Just cause what was that? What was that? Oh, now we see why Savannah the way she is. Cause let's get into this review, y'all. It was too much Angela this episode. I'm sorry. She is just not. She's like watching paint dry. I am so sorry. I have not thought Angela was interesting. I didn't even think Angela was interesting when she was on Run's house. And the thing about it was, like, Angela is played out when it comes to Growing Up Hip Hop, because Angela acts like she don't want to be a part of the mess. And then this is just like, it's like Growing Up Hip Hop, the Angela show. And it's like, when you do things like that, don't nobody want to, like, no one's interested in you. I'm not interested in her. So basically the episode opens up and we see her sister Vanessa and her walking down the street, getting into a car, and they're Ubering to the fertility doctor. Mind you, y'all, what did Angela have on? It was like a two-piece suit outfit. It was a crop top kind of, let me look at this. Yeah, it was a crop top, like suit top with like a high-waisted like pullover skirt. And the thing about it was like Angela looked so uncomfortable sitting in the car, so you know it was probably 2 sizes too small. And I'm like, why are you going to the doctor with this on? Angela oftentimes dresses like she's newly liberated, and maybe she is, but it's like there's nothing wrong with the way she dresses to a certain extent, but it's like it's always a time and a place. Like that last outfit with that cheetah, like she was about to like host a concert at Rolling Loud. I didn't understand that leopard and grunge type of stuff going on. Then this outfit with the heel looking like a sexy CEO, like secretary. It just didn't make sense. Like I'm kind of like, why? Where we going? So she gets to the doctor's office, and the thing about it is like what Angela is going through is important. Like we just gonna like call a thing a thing. It's a lot of people, especially a lot of Black women now, who are like they're thriving in their careers, but they haven't met the right person, or and that could be if you're gay or straight or whatever, anything in between. You just haven't met the right person yet, and you still want to have a family, but you don't have that person here yet, and you're just not willing to just like be with anyone. So some women are scrounging together or have the money already to freeze their eggs, because it is a costly experience. We find out that like it's between $9,000 to $15,000 just for the first go around. And if you can't get any eggs your first go around, or something happens, you have to do it again. So you're looking at almost spending between $18,000 to $30,000 on getting this treatment done. On top of the emotional aspect of it can be truly taxing. And Angela at 34 is like she's up and down. She's like, I'm very successful in my business. We see her later on talk to her friend where she's like, I don't know what I want. She was like, sometimes I think like, do I want more kids? Am I fine with just with my son? You know, my son is asking about wanting like siblings. He's also asking about looking for a father figure, because unfortunately we know that his dad was killed, and dealing with all of that. And she's just like, it's a lot to think about. And I like that her friend told her like, this is just a contingency plan. And that's true. Like for some people, having kids is very important to them, especially doing it at a specific age, and to others is not. But having the option of being able to freeze your eggs is a blessing that a lot of women don't have because they don't have the funds for it. So what we find out is that she is very fertile. She has a lot of follicles on her ovum. So if you don't know, you have your ovary, and then there's like little bumps on top of it. Those bumps begin to grow and they turn into an egg. And that's and basically, if you have your period, it means the egg is dropped and it wasn't fertilized. If you don't, if you do, if you have your period, there was no fertilization. If you do, you don't have your period, because implantation. We all know that. Most women know that, and men. So she's like, she found out she was super fertile. She ends up finding out that like she has to do 30 shots over a 10-day period, because she has to give herself 3 shots each day. So that's 30 shots in 10 days. And she's a little worried because she's afraid of needles. But like I said, it was an important conversation. It's just that Angela is boring. Like, she's boring. And like I said, it's always like since Growing Up Hip Hop has started, someone has always been Growing Up Hip Hop, the Angela show. Because Angela feels like she's so above like interacting with the people, that it's just kind of like when you do put like hoist her on the viewers, or you presented her to the viewers, it's kind of like, do we really care? And most of the time people don't. I mean, it was cute for what it was. We don't know if she froze her eggs or not. But hopefully she does find the right person. What she said was true when she was like, I've done the work on myself and I'm ready to receive like someone who's genuine, that loves me. And I think that's what everybody should be doing. Everybody should be working on themselves so they're able to receive somebody who is genuine and know the signs of somebody that's full of crap. But yeah, y'all, that was all about Angela, the whole episode. Next, let's talk about Savannah and Cree. So we've noticed we haven't seen them, and if you want more information on Jamie That's Me's channel, she actually has a video about where Cree has been, and so you should definitely go check that out. But it seems like Cree was opting out of filming because she didn't like the way she was painted. But if you want more concrete like information, go check out her video, and I'll put her name down below like I normally do when I mention people. But we see Savannah. Cree pops up at her apartment, and I guess maybe Cree has had a change of heart and realized that she looked a fool trying to fight Sequoia, and she looked stupid. And so she sat down with Savannah. I was not shocked to see that hookah there, which I'm like, y'all, hookah is not the best for you. It really isn't. Like, the hookah we smoke here is not the hookah that the original people in the Middle East be smoking, because those people be living years. Like, I don't know, they might have put some chemicals in the stuff that's over here. Like, you only supposed to smoke hookah like every once in a while. Like, you're not supposed to be doing it like that. Just like Sam shouldn't be vaping all the time. Gonna kill his lungs even further. But they're having a conversation. Cree says she wanted to have like a mom conversation. I felt like she shouldn't have preferenced that conversation with Savannah like that, because I'm like, you already can tell that Savannah is very like defensive and hostile. You should have just told her like, hey, I just want to have a conversation with you. And they basically talk about the fight. Cree, actually, I was surprised that she even said that like you kind of posted up on her, and it was that. And Savannah was like, she was mad that she took her there. And I was like, no, you took yourself there, because Sequoia didn't even come in there with that type of energy. Y'all were over there making fun of her, and it went left because of y'all, and because you mentioned her child. It was weird to have, because we end up finding out that Savannah is in therapy, which is a good thing for her. She need to continue and actually like take in what that lady was saying, because it was weird that Savannah was like, I can't force people to take accountability, when she doesn't take accountability herself for the things that she's done. Throughout this whole entire season, even with the fight with Sayura, you constantly keep blaming Sayura when you are the one that made that situation very hostile when it didn't need to be. So with you saying you're tired of forcing people to take accountability, you're not taking accountability for the things that you've done. So what are you talking about, ma'am? But it's nice that they have this little relationship. It was kind of messed up to hear the story about, I guess, Savannah was in an art, like playing basketball. Her mom was her basketball coach, and I guess she had got into it with the girl. The mom thought she had said it to her, and so the mom punched her in front of the group, like the group of girls. And if that is true, that's wrong. That's embarrassing, and it's wrong. And if you hear the rumbling, it is raining cats and dogs right now. I'm trying to do these videos before the power go off. Hopefully it don't. But yeah, that's messed up. That's messed up if she really embarrassed her and physically like assaulted her like that in front of her friends, and it wasn't even her fault. Like, that was wrong. That was out of pocket. So we can see the issues between them, especially when you have an absent father like Stevie J. And then also if your mother is someone who is just as toxic as him, you get Savannah. But it comes to a point where like you can't constantly blame your parents. Like, yes, you can say they're the reason why I am the way I am. But if you know that the way you are is messed up, then you should also take the initiative as an adult to get better. Because I don't think anybody wants to. Being angry all the time costs a lot. It costs you mental health, and it costs you physical health. It's a lot of people out here who have like probably got sick and died from just being angry all the time. So I hope she continues with her therapy. Yes, to wrap all this up is with Sam, Egypt, and TT. We see what's her name, Vanessa, talking to TT on FaceTime, and we find out that TT and Egypt are supposed to have like a little meetup. The next scene we see is Sam and Egypt and what's his name, Lazy Bones, in the studio, and it's weird. Like, I was disappointed in myself because for a moment Sam looked cute and I said, Leah, no. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. In that little black light, I was like, oh, he actually is somewhat kind of cute. And I said, But Lazy Bones in the studio with Sam. And I just find it weird because he says he doesn't take credit for Egypt, but he's always making mention that he helps Egypt write her work. He helps her do the switchboards and helps her produce, and he also helps Pep. I didn't mind him saying that stuff about Egypt, but I kind of felt some type of way about Pep because I'm like, she's a legend. Like, I don't know, it kind of felt like a dig, but maybe it's because I feel like because it's Sam, he might not have even meant it like that, so I'm gonna let him have it. Excuse me. They then talk about, him facing jail time, and Lazy Bones basically says like, Lazy Bones basically like Sam's energy around the whole jail time thing is weird to him. Like, it doesn't seem like he's taking it serious. And to a certain extent, I could see where Lazy Bones is coming from. But I also do think Sam is somewhat taking it serious because every time we see him, he's talking about it. So I do think he's taking it serious. I just think he has this nonchalant attitude for everybody else because he probably at home is like pooping bricks because he's scared he might end up going to jail. We see Egypt pop up. Lazy asks her how she's feeling about it. And she says she's worried. Sam say, don't be worried. Then he keeps constantly reiterating to her, like, you don't have to stick around. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that, this, and that. If I go away, I want you to be okay. And Egypt's like, I'll be okay. Even if you go away, I'm a grown woman, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like there's some type of manipulation a little bit with him constantly telling her to leave. Because it's like, she doesn't want to leave you, but you constantly telling her to leave without you actually actively breaking up with her. If you do go to jail, that's manipulative. And I feel like he's only saying this just for us not to be like, oh, she gonna waste her life with him. Because if she does waste her life with him, it's gonna be like, well, he can be like, well, I told her to leave and to go be great somewhere else, but she stayed. So is it really my fault? Which is true. The next scene we see is the actual sit down with TT and Egypt. And honestly, it was awkward. It was really awkward. I don't even know where they were at. I don't think they weren't at Pep's home. They were at somebody's house or somewhere. It was a nice house, but it was awkward. I don't know what the heck Egypt had on. Like, I didn't get it. It was awkward. It was just awkward because we end up finding out, I didn't even know Egypt hasn't even met the baby. Like, Egypt has never met Leif because TT don't want them around her kid. And there needs to be accountability on both sides, but it does seem like they're trying to blame everybody not liking Sam on TT when what TT said was right. When she was like, I haven't been around y'all for 2 years and people still don't like him. And I haven't talked about y'all. So clearly it's your significant other. It's not me. And I don't get why, and TT's like, she doesn't get why Egypt doesn't see that. And the truth of the matter is TT is a lot older than Egypt. So hindsight is 2020. When you're in your early 20s versus someone being in their 30s and who has a longer, more life experience, of course you can be like, girl, red flag, red flag, red flag. But when you're young and you feel like this person is somebody who is truly special to you and they make you feel special and they make you feel valued, it's very hard for you to disengage and push that person to the side. I also do think TT does have to take accountability for how she tried to actively mess up the engagement with the whole giving them the wrong address and trying to ruin it. And then co-signing, Brianna did ruin the engagement, and then that whole fight happened. But there also does need to be accountability taken on Egypt's side, where your man was out here telling everyone that Tahira was in love with him and wanted him and was making slick moves on him. He has to take accountability for that too. So Egypt can't constantly say TT is blaming Sam When it's like, no, Sam has done things and he hasn't apologized for it. And TT has done things as well and she hasn't really apologized for it. She did state that, like, you know, I take on, like, she was like, you know, I have done things and I'm sorry for that. But I think Egypt just wants things to be the same again. And I don't think she understands that things won't be the same because you're attached to Sam. There's no way that things can ever be the same unless Sam is willing to take accountability for his actions as well. But they ended and it was just an awkward conversation. It was good that didn't nobody storm out or yell at each other, but it seems like they were just dancing around the issue pretty much. And like TT kept saying, like, I want to say things, but I can't say things because I don't want to hurt you. And like Egypt says, I'm a grown woman. Like, you can give it to me straight. And I think that's the thing with Egypt. She's tired of people treating her like she's this 15-year-old girl. So that is also the reason why she clings on to Sam, because Sam makes her feel like an adult. We end the episode with Sam, Egypt, and and Sam's cousin. Egypt's back from, I guess, wherever she was. I didn't like Sam making comments about her hair. So, because it didn't look great, but like, shut up. She basically said she want to elope. So I guess we are going to get to see her marrying Sam and them eloping. And we also find out that unfortunately the court date keeps getting pushed back, but he's looking at, I guess, less jail time, but 1 felony, which maybe if they keep pushing back his court date, it might benefit him more than hindering. But we do also know that's a tactic of the court systems where they'll keep pushing something back, especially if someone's in jail for years, and then someone will be in jail for like 5 years and never have a trial. So, I mean, it's a good thing he's out. But she basically was like, she want to elope with him. One thing I did notice that I was like, that's an issue, is Sam and Egypt making this distinction between Pep and Tretch. Them saying that they're more like Tretch when it comes to like the business and family versus Pep, saying that Pep put her business before her family. And Egypt saying my mom let a lot of things get out of control and I needed her to do things for me. And that to me means that that boy is big. He's making a wedge. And it's weird that she doesn't see that, and neither does Tretch or Pep. Because I would be looking at Egypt funny with him in the confessionals with my daughter talking about, I'm different and I cared more about my business than my family. That could be true, but that little boy don't need to be saying that about us. So he married, he a part of the family now. So y'all got to deal with that. But that's it. That is all, y'all. Remember to be bravely authentic. Drop down in the comments below and let me know your thoughts. And I'm out. Deuces.